Well, yes, indeed. Mr. Donald Ayubio will join us. He's a lawyer. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, yes, we'll come to this Code of Conduct Tribunal and the associated matters. But let's start off with one of the issues, the big one over the weekend. In Rivers, the elections as it's playing out, and as many of the papers have also reported it, you also have kept an eye on that matter. What's your impression in terms of how it seems to be unfolding there in Rivers? Could you give us your impression in terms of how the elections in Rivers State is unfolding?
I think the elections in Rivers State is the happenings as it's been reported in the dailies gives a lot of room for concern. Prior to this time, you know that we see the kind of deployment that has been made by the security agents, and we look at the level of killings that we have experienced in Rivers particularly. So it gives a lot of concerns, to the generality of the public that we are having this kind of crisis in that place at the moment.
All right, let's then, we'll come back to that as well as we progress. But about the Code of Conduct now and how it's playing out now, fresh perspectives, and David John, sometime later they'll be given their verdict. But several issues have been raised. You've seen the one canvassed by the Prosecuting Counsel and the Defense Counsel in terms of how this should go. But as everyone waits, how do you see that playing out?
Well, it is also an issue that I think is unfortunate at this time. You see, the problem we have here is I don't see the rush. Why in haste to take matters to court when you haven't done the needful? Our laws are clear, and you remember that these are legal matters. They are not subject to all these general opinions, making the rounds. What is required to be done, ab initio, was not done. I have been involved in prosecution, of cases, even on behalf of government. And what we find is that, there is this rush in taking cases to court, and that has not helped matters, over the years. And you see this, particularly about this case, it is a case that one would have expected that you are taking such an high-profile matter to court. Do all that is required, from the law, to be able to make reasonable progress with it. But that has not been done, obviously, in this case. So I'm afraid, the current charge they have before the CCT, may fall on the strength of the prosecution, that is the government, are not doing what is needed, what they ought to have done, in terms of giving the defendant, the fair hearing that is required, because it's fundamental in our laws, that you afford the other person, particularly in criminal trials, if you have seen how it plays out in court. Trust me, I can tell you, it's very rigorous. You cannot proceed against an accused person when you don't even have a statement, when you have not afforded him opportunity to talk to you. How do you hope to convict him or to get a judgment? So it is hard, I would have expected that, we are in an era of change. Let's do things properly. Let's do things in a way that will justify the confidence, repose in the state. Because you see, justice is a three-way thing. Justice must be dispensed to the state, to the accused person, and to the victim, to the society. So whereas all of this has not been fully considered before rushing to court, in terms of putting together the right papers to ensure that you make progress, you are able to secure what what you have gone to the court for, then I'm afraid, you know, and we have a precedence in the, you know, in a similar matter that has been decided even by the same court before.
Just before we go to the precedents now,
okay,
let's take a look at why the case of the CCB is a little peculiar in terms of how these matters work. So if there is a problem, for instance, I mean, if you've declared your assets and they notice some discrepancies, the Code of Conduct Bureau notices some discrepancies, what exactly is the process that it's supposed to follow?
Okay, the law is very clear. In the law setting up the Code of Conduct, the CC, you know, there is the Section 3, you know, of the CCT Act, you know, provides that when you receive a complaint.
So I can hear you a little better.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Okay,
yes,
can you hear me
better
now? Okay, so the CCB, you know, like I said in Section 3D, you know, provides that when you receive a complaint, you know, concerning when you receive a complaint about not compliance or a breach of that act, you know, the law, you know, you commence, you know, investigation. You are entitled to investigate, and you know, before referring that that breach to the tribunal for prosecution, you know, and the law went further to say, you know, provided there's a written submission by from the person who is alleged to have committed that breach. So the law envisages a situation whereby the accused person or the defendant is invited to hear his own side, to make clarifications about anomalies that has been noticed, you know, in his declarations, you know, if any, and before you can say that, you know, you want to proceed to the tribunal. Otherwise, you know, what you see, what you get at the end of the day is that the tribunal will not be, you are forced effect on the tribunal, because the tribunal will be handicapped. The tribunal will not be able to, you won't get conviction. You know, that is the implication. So that is what we have in this case. And if you remember, in the case of the prominent politician in this country was also taken to the CCT in 2011, you know, and it is so far that same fate. So what I'm saying is that, you know, prosecution should conduct their cases diligently. You must ensure that if a case is brought to you as a lawyer, look at the likely defense of your adversary, you know, that you are proceeding against, the person you are proceeding against rather, you know, and prepare for it. What is the rush? There is no rush. You can get the defendant to respond to it. This charge is not, you still have time to do it. You can withdraw this charge and do the needful, you know, not sensationalizing things in such a way that, you know, you give out an impression that you are out to persecute somebody. You know, we should have, by now we expect that we have moved past that era. Let's not, I expect that the AGF, you know, all of these institutions under his control should be made to do their duties diligently. They should be made to conduct, you know, investigations and prosecutions according to this, so that we will be able to achieve the desired goal of bringing, you know, corruption, you know, suppressing corruption to the barest minimum, you know, in this country. And that is the only way we can help this president. You know, that is the only way. Otherwise,